These huge gates mark the entrance to what's known as the Lost City. It's a recreation of an ancient civilization and provides the backdrop for this year's competition. It's here that the strongmen are preparing for the first event.
Gary Taylor, the current champion, goes into this heat knowing that his reputation, as well as his crown, is well and truly on the line in this amazing resort.
And the first of Gary Taylor's rivals is a man he knows well from Highland Games competition. Forbes Cowan takes part in his first ever World's Strongest Man. Bill Linden is also a newcomer. He's a good all-round sportsman and at 24 stones body weight is a serious contender for a place in the final. Joe Onasai is even bigger. He may be the surprise package of the whole competition, but lacks experience in the big contests. And finally, the reigning champion. Gary, who is probably the most gifted strength athlete in the world, will be the target man for the rest to beat.
Gary, defending champion, does that put extra pressure on you?
Yes, I think it does in a strange sort of way. I think it's easy to get to the top, but it's harder to stay there. So I'm a little bit anxious. The whole format has changed, so we've got to qualify as well. So it's a little bit of added danger, really.
Bill, just coming out to the first event, are you looking forward to it?
Yes, I've been training hard for the last 12 months just for this competition, so yeah, I'll be going as hard as I can.
Now, you've got the defending champion in your heat. That makes it extra tough, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a very tough draw, so I just have to make sure that I make no mistakes and just do the best I can.
What about the rest of the opposition? How much do you know about them?
I know Gary's very good. I compete against Gary all year round. Bill Linden's good, but I don't know anything about Joe, so we'll need to wait and see how good he is.
And Gary Taylor, the defending champion, he's in your heat.
Yeah, they put some pressure on us, you know, but like I said, I'm not going to worry about what he does. I'm just going to worry about what Joe Onasai has to do.
The niceties over, the serious business of qualifying for the final begins in the Valley of the Waves, which really makes you believe you're in the middle of an ancient Roman resort. The calm before the storm as Taylor prepares for the truck pull. Big Bill Linden really psyched up for this first event of 1994.
Hey! Take the strain.
Well, this is a giant safari truck complete with 10 passengers, nearly 2 tons in total, which has to be pulled over a course of 25 metres in the fastest possible time. Linden is a huge man, but weight is not that important here. It's more a question of power in the arms and timing. There's a lot of London buses that don't go much faster than that in the rush hour. He's just beginning to slow a little. Watch the clock in the right-hand corner. The front of the truck must go over that white line. 34.06, a good start for the Aussie, and a time the rest look a little nervous about.
It's very much arm, leg, and back coordination. You have to get a good rhythm. A few times there I broke my rhythm, but no, I'm happy now. I just hope that it's a good time.
All right. Take the strain.
Joe Onasai, who bears the tribal marks of a Samoan chief. He's the heaviest man in the whole of this year's competition and looks as though he's off to a very fast start. The time he has to beat is on the left-hand side of the screen. But there's still some way to go, and he's already well outside Linden's time. Everything now working in slow motion. This is a real struggle for Onasai. There's got to be a question mark on his tactics of starting so fast. Referee Douglas Edmonds signals the end of Onasai's agony. That's 1 minute exactly. Encouragement from the crowd for the Pacific Islander, but that was disappointing.
Thought I had a pretty good start, but you know, the endurance just wasn't there. I think as soon as I got halfway, I felt my arms and my legs going, so it's a tough event.
Forbes Cowan's turn now, and 34 seconds is still the time to beat.
All right. Take the strain.
Well, I wonder whether he has learned anything from watching the other two. He seems to be using his back a lot more. Forbes was just a reserve for World's Strongest Man last year, and here he's pulling nearly 2,000 kilos of truck and bodies. That's the time. This is going to be very fast for the Scotsman. Andres Goodmanson in the blue, one of this year's reserves, really shouting at Cowan. 33.02. over a second faster than Linden, and that will really give Gary Taylor something to worry about. Taylor getting ready, the last man to go in this first event.
Forbes, well done. In first place in the first event, in your first event, with just Gary Taylor to go, that must make you very pleased.
Quite happy. Had a good pull. I made a fumble, but I seemed to recover okay from it.
Some of the other competitors seem to have been using their arms a lot. You were using your back far more.
I tend to use my back a lot more because my lower back's really strong compared to my arms, so I got a better drive from my lower back.
Speaking of strength, how's this for a physique? 20 stones of solid muscle. Man against machine for the last time in this heat.
Come on, Gary.
There's a lot of support here for the Welshman. Always popular and a great showman to boot.
Boy, come on. Come on now, guys. Ready. Take the strain. Yes, guys, come on.
An enormous strain on those muscles. He seems to be using the same technique as Cowan. I think he may have missed his grip there. That's going to lose him time. He's really jamming his legs against that wooden block for extra pulling power. There's certainly no lack of effort here, but the time is slipping away. The champion's outside Cowan's lead, and he's going to miss Bill Linden's time as well. 39.84 for Gary. He's not going to be happy with that.
A disappointing outcome for defending champion Gary Taylor, but a great boost for Scotsman Forbes Cowan's confidence as he takes the lead.
Well, that's the nerves away now. There's plenty of nerves there before the pull, so the nerves are away, so I feel a bit better now.
Surprised to see Gary back in third place?
Very surprised. Gary's very, very strong arm over arm. He's maybe a wee bit trouble with a bicep at the beginning of the season, maybe holding him back slightly, but quite sure he'll come through, no problem.
Gary, confirmed in third place, but you're not renowned as a fast starter really in these competitions, are you?
Never have been, no. I don't know if it's nerves or what, but I was terrible. I lost the rope a couple of times then. Once you start doing that, it makes you so hard.
How's the bicep? Because I know you were a bit concerned about that.
I can't lie, no problem really. It's just a bad start again.
This is certainly the most exotic location ever for a weightlifting contest, and that's what has happened so far. Taylor and Linden chose to pass on their attempts at 130 kilograms. In the event of a tie, the man with the fewer attempts overall wins.
At 145 kilos, Joe Onasai of Samoa.
This log now weighs just over 23 stones, and Joe Onasai the first to attempt the new weight of 145 kilos. That's about the same as a fridge freezer full of the weekend shopping. Well, this lift must be made inside a 90-second time limit, and when the log is at arm's length overhead, the feet must be absolutely still. Just getting the balance right. Oh, that's just a simple pressing movement from Joe. That's very strong indeed. Dr. Doug Edmonds, the competition referee, scrutinising each lift.
Joe, you make it look so easy, is it?
No, it's not easy. I just try my best, and I think I'm moving the log pretty well. I'm surprising myself.
Forbes Cowan now with the same weight as Onasai. The temperature out here is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, so these men will want to get this over with as soon as possible. Taylor and Linden have passed on a weight for the second time. Cowan, the surprise leader after the first event, but he's struggling just a little bit here. Needs to steady himself. Oh, not quite. It looks as though the Scot will have to settle for fourth place, and the weight on the log goes up.
Didn't expect to do very well on it. I didn't do very well.
What's the difference between the log lift and normal weightlifting?
Normal weightlifting is in a bar. You can control it better. The log, the weight's never right, it's awkward. I've never really done Olympic lifting, so I've not really got much technique on it.
Joe Onasai doesn't appear to need much technique. He's so strong in the arms and shoulders. The weight now increasing to 150 kilograms. That's 330 pounds. He literally throws the log onto his chest. There's the press once again. So easy. And the pressure now on Taylor and Linden. Log support certainly certainly sounds confident. Gary Taylor up next with exactly the same weight. Well, this man is a former Olympic silver medalist in weightlifting, so this event should be good for him. We just about lost sight of his head for the moment, but look at the definition in his forearms. He's gone off for a little stroll on the beach. He brings it under control. A big lift with a big smile. I would say Joe Onosai would be very impressed with that indeed.
I was just slaying to the camera a little bit so you can get a bit more of me on the cameras, all right?
I don't think Bill Linden will see the joke at the moment. I swear this man is getting pinker by the minute in this hot sun. He passed on 145 kilos to save his energy for this weight. So far so good, but he can try again. He's going to need to lock out those arms. Down it goes. He finishes third, in fact, with the same weight as Forbes Cowan, but with fewer attempts. So 2 men left in, and more weight will go on the log.
Bill, commiserations. It was looking easier earlier on, but that was a hard weight.
Yeah, it was very hard weight, but that's the only way I could stay in the weight. I didn't want to go to 145, but to chase the other guys, you know. So, yeah, unfortunately, I missed the lift.
160 kilos now for Joe, who has won many weightlifting competitions in the United States. Onto the chest once again, but he's in a little bit of trouble. Some of the Welsh supporters down there nearly given an early bath by Joe. And Bill Linden, in fact, just shouted a reminder to the Samoan that he's got 90 seconds to complete the lift. Oh no, it goes down. He's had enough. So now it's all down to Gary Taylor. That's Gary's mum in the white hat. Now, can the Welsh Dragon really breathe some fire into this competition?
This is for first place, Joe. Gary's looking very strong.
Oh, he's an awesome lifter. He's very explosive. I just feel privileged to be behind him.
Very easy onto the chest for Taylor. Oh my goodness, Joe was 100% right. In this event, Taylor is awesome. That's going to be a real confidence booster for Gary. So a solitary point for Scotland. Australia won ahead, but what a contest for the maximum 4. Taylor gets it, but I think the Samoan gave him a bit of a shock.
Joe surprised us all there, I think, and pushed me to my limit. That went up quite well, so I'm definitely strong, and just we keep going now. I needed the points. Here we go again. Slow start, but on my way again.
He certainly is. The defending champion is back on top, while against all expectations, Samoan Joe Onosai now lies in 4th place. The Lost City is a combination of extravagant art and architecture with a very African theme. Towering over the site is the luxurious Palace Hotel, where guests can bathe in the lap of luxury to their heart's content. Not so for our competitors, who are preparing to sweat it out under the burning midday sun in Event 3.
The sumo wrestling is certainly an event that Forbes Cowan is not looking forward to. He strides out onto the mat, but he's up against a top-class judo fighter, Joe Onosai, in this first contest.
Bow.
Each man going through the sumo ritual before battle commences. It's the best of 3 bouts, with the winner having to throw his opponent onto the mat or out of the ring. Joe is a former American footballer with the Dallas Cowboys, and so he will be very quick off the mark when the referee signals for the bout to begin.
Okay, take the grip.
A very good grip on the opponent's belt is going to be so important.
Hey.
Well, this doesn't look as though it's going to last very long.
Hey.
It even seemed to catch the crowd by surprise. Onosai turning Forbes easily and dumping him onto the ground.
Go. Onosai.
Joe is certainly going to need big points in this 3rd event, and at this rate, he's going to get them. Off we go again. Oh, it's even faster this time. For Cowan, it seems just a question of coming out in one piece.
Winner, on the side.
There was a big weight difference here. Forbes a miserly 19 stones to the Samoans' 25 stone bulk. That was significant. It looks so tranquil here, but all that will change in the next minute or so. Taylor versus Linden, and both of them look ready to tear each other apart. Gary might weigh 20 stones or thereabouts, but there's not a lot of fat floating around on that body.
Inside, bow.
Here comes the ritual once again. Not quite as well rehearsed as it has been, but they can be forgiven. This event last appeared in World's Strongest Man in 1982. There's two men who would be welcome additions to any rugby front row.
Wait. Ready. Hey.
Oh, Taylor so fast, he lifts him so easily. He's turned him. That's a big fall
Back in
indeed.
position.
Taylor and Linden really letting rib at each other, and referee Edmonds wanting a few words with Gary just to calm things down. Both men seem to fall very heavily, but Taylor comes out on top in the first bout. So almost a repeat of the Onosai-Cowan fight. Taylor very much looking to be the favourite to go through to the final.
Come on, Gary. Wait. Okay.
Oh, it looks as though he's going to do it again. Linden thrown down like an old sack of potatoes. What a final in prospect now. Taylor wins with ease, and he's now guaranteed at least 3 points. The tempest subsides. A big hug there for both men, and a chance for the other finalist to plan his next move.
He's very strong, very explosive, so I've just got to be careful on my moves.
Are you looking for speed, or is it real power?
I just try to feel for the weak spot, and then I move to that spot. So hopefully I'll find a weak spot on Taylor, if there is any.
Gary, you were totally psyched up for that, and you went in, as you said, with very great speed.
Well, it's an unknown quantity. Bill's a lot heavier than me. I had to be fast, otherwise you'd have ripped me to bits. You can't mess about with body weight like that. It's just too draining. I had to get over quick enough. It's amazing how hard that is.
Now you're through to the final. You've seen Joe fight already.
Yeah.
What do you think of your chances?
I just got to do the same thing. Hit him hard. In fact, he's heavier again. Obviously, Joe's very experienced. He is a master judo competitor, so I'll do my best.
Before that final, though, there's the contest to decide third and fourth place between Bill and Forbes. With just one event after the sumo, this is a very important bout for both of them, as they're tied in second place overall.
Hey!
Cowan is again the lighter man, but he's managing to spin the Aussie around. Linden goes out and down. That should be a win for the Scot. Cowan wins this one. Forbes has competed in Cumberland Wrestling in the Highland Games, and so he has experience on his side. Cowan's knee has gone down. Now that could be a win for Bill Linden.
Come on, Forbesy boy. Linden!
So Linden pulls one back. 1-1, and so this final bout could help one of them through to the final of World's Strongest Man. Cowan looks as though he's on a charge here. Linden is first out of the ring again. Forbes gets those vital 2 points. The Australian looking a bit mystified as to that result, but no doubt about the winner. Those extra points really could make a difference to Cowan's prospects of qualifying. Joe Onosai coming into the ring first for what could be one of the best head-to-head contests we've ever seen in Strongest Man.
Gary Taylor, Will.
Gary Taylor now lighter by some 70 pounds. And both men starting the sumo ritual, the clapping which attracts the attention of the gods. Now the side-to-side movements, showing their opponents there are no hidden weapons of war. And finally the stamping of the feet to drive away evil spirits. Taylor certainly eager to get things started. Oh, but he's been turned by Onosai. He's going to lose this one. Onosai gets it, and this is beginning to look an impossible task for the Welshman.
Yeah, please.
And it looks as though he might have him this time. That was very fast indeed. Speed and power overcoming strength and weight. So the perfect climax to event 3. One bout each and both men desperate to get the extra point.
Just wait now. Go!
Well, Gary trying to lift Onasai again, but Onasai won't budge. Taylor goes down first. Gary not sure who's going to win this one. But Onasai looks confident. Onasai gets it, his first ever win in a World's Strongest Man competition, and it came just when he needed it the most. The judo experience coming in very handy indeed for the Samoan. And so the result of the sumo wrestling means that Bill Linden has his worst finish of the day. But it didn't take Joe Onasai long to reflect on his defeat of Taylor.
We haven't seen in American football that physical superiority cancels all out theory, and he almost witnessed that with the Welshman, as strong as he is. He almost got me there.
Well, going into the last event, it seems the two qualifiers will come from the top 3 competitors. Gary is a firm favourite and Forbes is looking strong, but so too is Joe. For the final event, we leave the beach and head back up onto firmer soil to the arena where the competition began. The last challenge is called the Farmer's Walk. It's a traditional test of power, often seen in Scottish strength events, which Gary and Forbes regularly take part in.
Forbes Cowan of Scotland.
The prospect of having to carry 2 95-kilogram cylinders along a course for as long as possible might not strike most people as a very sane thing to do after all the efforts that have gone into the previous events. But that's exactly what Bill Linden and Forbes Cowan are aiming to do.
Ready! Lift!
Cowan on the near side has experience in this event, but for him and Linden, it's a definite disadvantage having to go first. The next pair will be able to see exactly what they have to beat. Safely round the turn at 25 metres. Just imagine trying to walk down the pavement, holding a 15-stone man off the ground in each hand. That's the equivalent of what they're carrying here. Cowan turning now at 2 laps, that's 50 metres he's covered. Linden just behind, each man going at his own pace. Linden just wobbling a little bit on the right-hand side. Oh, the grip has gone at about 60 metres, he's finished now. Cowan, meanwhile, negotiating the post at 75 metres. This is a real gutsy performance. His whole body is beginning to hurt, and Forbes Cowan finishes on 80 metres. That's going to be a very difficult target indeed for the next 2 big men. Joe Onasai out first, and Gary Taylor looking very serious indeed. The standard of competition has been severe, and we're just in week 1 of World's Strongest Man. The outcome of this first heat rests with these two now.
Ready! Lift!
Linden looks to be out of the running, but Onasai, Taylor and Forbes Cowan all have a chance of going through to the final. Taylor is almost sprinting the first 25 metres. This is really fast and furious. Onasai concentrating as he negotiates the first bend. Gary Taylor's muscles almost looking set to explode. He should be looking to beat Onasai here to ensure qualification. He's not looking too comfortable around 50 metres. He's looking to go past the Australian's marker. He's done it, but only just. And it may not be enough because Joe is still going strong. I think Taylor knows he's in trouble. Onasai passes him, but I don't think Joe will know exactly what the final point situation is. But Taylor knows he underestimated the Samoan. Gary Taylor seems to think he's missed out on a place in the final. He finished in 3rd place with 2 points, Onasai in 2nd, but a marvellous win for Forbes Cowan and 4 points, his 2nd win this week. Exactly who has qualified for the final is still not quite clear.
So the overall scoreboard looks like this, with 3 people on 11 points. Placings in the competition are now decided on countback. Forbes Cowan goes through to the final on account of his 2 first places, and Onasai squeezes out defending champion Gary Taylor by clinching 1 more 2nd place than the Welshman.
Well, obviously very disappointed. It's my own fault. I messed up the hand-over-hand pull. and I think that the wrestling took a little bit too much out of me for the farmer's walk. There was just nothing in my legs whatsoever. That's my own fault. I can't complain if anything.
Forbes, congratulations. Not only are you through to World's Strongest Man, but you've won 2 events and you've beaten the world champion. Tinged with sadness, perhaps, because I know you know Gary Taylor very well, but you must be delighted.
Oh, I'm very delighted I've went through. As I said earlier, Gary's a great athlete. He made a bad mistake, an arm over arm, and he paid for it. And he can't afford to make mistakes when there's only 4 events.
I think the success that you've just had is just sinking in, isn't it?
Well, slightly sinking in. I feel a wee bit sad that Gary never went through, but that's the way this sport goes. There's nothing you can do about it.
Welcome to Sun City in Southern Africa, venue for the 1994 World's Strongest Man competition. Last week, defending champion Gary Taylor surprisingly failed to qualify, but Britain is assured of 1 finalist in the shape of Forbes Cowan from Tottenham, who goes through with Joe Onside from Samoa. This week, another former champion, Giant Dutchman Ted Van Der Para, takes on 3 more minor men into new trials of strength. Here's to tell us more.
4 new events. Qualify automatically for the final in 3 weeks' time. Well, the lineup for this week in Heat 2 includes a former champion and Manfred Herbal, the man with the biggest biceps in the world.
The Valley of the Waves in the Lost City has already witnessed some trials of strength which quite frankly were incredible. And it now plays host to some more men who should impress us just as much. Laszlo Fekete has a reputation in his home country of possessing Herculean strength, especially when lifting giant stones or rocks. This is a man with arms as big as most people's legs. Manfred Herbal has one of the most instantly recognizable physiques in the world of strength. Ted Van Der Para has a distinctive feature as well. He's 7 feet tall. He was champion 2 years ago, so his experience could be crucial. By contrast, the French-Canadian Ron Trottier is a novice, but those statistics tell you this national champion is a very big man.
Within the walls of this fantasy city, the competitors are preparing for the first event. Here, a course has been marked out for what's known as the harness pull.
Good morning. How are you? Very well. Weather is good up here. Let's go for action.
But with temperatures of around 100 degrees, the contest will also demand a lot of stamina.
First competitor, Ron Trottier.
A similar scene to last week where Gary Taylor had a nightmare start to his competition, pulling the truck arm over arm. This time the competitors are harnessed onto 2 trucks and have to drag them as quickly as possible over the 25-metre course. The total weight here is 4 tons. Ron Trottier it is, who goes first in this competition, and he's getting plenty of support, trying to stay low. Virtually all the strain here on the legs, but those harnesses really digging into the shoulders. He's got away to a good start. He's looking comfortable. Using his arms as well as his legs. Getting close to the line now. He has to reach for it. 27.55 seconds. That gets this heat away to a cracking start.
Ron, many congratulations. Your first event in World's Strongest Man, but it went well.
Our problem with my start because it's slippery. So it's the first time, so there's a couple of things I didn't know, like using short step is better.
Well, you can see here exactly what he meant. Those shoes are quite lightweight to do this sort of job, but those harness straps must have been cutting into those huge shoulders. Trottier there, he's almost as wide as the truck itself. The safari truck's now being repositioned, and I must say the tension here this morning is really getting to our four men. There's a lot of nerves out there, even for a former champion.
Next competitor, Laszlo Fekete of Hungary.
The first chance for us to see Fekete limbering up. This is a man with an icy cold stare. He looks totally focused on this first test.
Come on.
He's about the same size as Trottier in terms of body weight.
Ready.
Slightly taller.
Straight.
Come on,
Dr. Doug
Laszlo.
Edmonds, as usual, keeping a watchful eye on the proceedings. The time to beat on the left-hand side of the screen. He seems to be going well. He's wavering just a little bit, but who wouldn't try to pull this sort of weight? Like Trottier, he's staying low, and this is going to be fast. Getting very close to the line now, over 2 seconds faster than the Canadian's time. Laszlo's first effort is a good one.
Van den Toren, the Netherlands. Manfred Herbel, please prepare.
Big Ted now. He's very good at this event. He won it in Iceland the year he won the title. That's one of the officials there, Jim, and he's almost having to stand on tiptoe to reach Ted's shoulders.
Ready. Take the straight.
Come on, Ted.
He just leans forward to get it moving. It certainly does help when you weigh 25 stones. The passengers there just thankful it's not them having to pull all this weight. Ted moving very well. In danger of losing his specs in a moment. This looks very fast indeed for Ted van der Para. Yes, it is. 2.5 seconds faster. That's going to be very tough to beat. Well, we can go back to the beginning and watch this in slow motion. He gets going with the small steps Ron Trottier was talking about, but the rope on the second truck was slack. That brought him to a complete standstill.
Ted, I seem to remember this was a good event for you in Iceland, and you've done it again in the lead with just Manfred to go.
Just Manfred to go, but it is in a very light pool. Back in Iceland, it's a very heavy pool. That's better for me, so what I did is very well.
It's a very fast time.
It is. I don't know if it's fast enough. We have to wait what Manfred's going to do.
Well, I'm not sure even Manfred Herbel would describe 4 tons as a light pool, but this is the man with the physique that everybody is talking about, Mr. Arm.
Ready. Take the straight. Come on.
This is a little bit jerky. He is light in comparison to Ted, so those legs perhaps having to work a lot harder. His feet seem to be slipping a bit too. Just look at the size of those arms and shoulders. Those are certainly going to help him more in some of the other events later. This is a much better rhythm now. There's still a little way to go. He reaches, he misses. The time, 26.84 seconds in 3rd place, and I don't think he's happy. This was the last desperate reach. He mistimed it, and that could have cost him 1 place.
So Ted's time proved too hard to beat even for the determined Austrian. He lies 3rd behind the Hungarian Laszlo Fekete after the first event. But there's still a long way to go, and as they say, anything could happen. It's down to the beach now for the next event, which also suits the giant Dutchman. Each competitor must throw a 15-kilogram weight over this wall, which is raised after each successful attempt.
Ted, first in the first event. How do you reckon you'll do this time round?
Normally I'm very good at it. We became the 1st or 2nd place, I think. We have to wait for it. It is a strange event for me because there's no handle on the weight. You have to grab it like a rock and throw it over the bar, that's it. But I think 1 or 2 must be available for me.
Are you confident of success this time round?
Yeah, I think so. If I'm beaten here, then I know I'm not strong enough this year. Somebody beats me throwing. That's as a test for explosive power. and this is really my advantage to all the other competitors. And if I can't generate that power this time, then I'm not 100% right. So this is my test of strength for myself.
And this is the way it's done. Ted van der Para giving us a simple demonstration, really, at the height you can see on the screen. 4 meters 20, that's about 14 feet. The weight, of course, 15 kilograms. And so this event will really test these competitors as the wall gets higher. That's when things get really serious. And this is the position so far. Trottier, Fekete and van der Para all over 4 meters 50. And Manfred feeling confident, yet to attempt a height. Well, the wall has grown again, this time to 5 meters. That's well over the height of a London bus, and Ron Trottier, who hasn't looked 100% happy in this event, the first to go. Only just! And Ron just flinching a bit, thinking it was on its way down on his side of the wall. Manfred now. Just checking his position. He doesn't want to be too close to the wall. Just setting himself up. He'll take some preliminary swings, but he must keep those arms straight. Oh my goodness, that's gone way over. Obviously a lot more to come from the Austrian, looking very calm and collected. Oh my goodness, he won't be if that chair collapses. Laszlo just looking a bit pensive as he approaches the wall at 5 meters. Like Trottier, he hasn't looked really comfortable on this event. He's got to work those legs, the back, and then the arms. Not this time. The Hungarian just gets 1 point in this second event, and perhaps some coaching required the next time he attempts it. Well, Ted, of course, he's a lot closer to the top of the wall than everybody else. He's got a tremendous natural advantage in this event. Just look how long those arms are. Oh, that's very good. Not quite the same margin as Herbal, but still a very good effort. Let's just compare the physiques of each competitor and how it affects their performances in this event. Fekete first, the yellow line showing the extent of his reach. Trottier now, the same height as the Hungarian, but a longer reach. Then Manfred, a shade higher than the Canadian. And now the human wall, Ted van der Para, who tops the lot by quite a margin. Technique and power, though, are still vital ingredients of this event. The wall now at 5 meters 50, and Trottier is up just over 18 feet. And this is the sort of height a world-class pole vaulter would be scaling with ease. Ron's got the right idea. The long, relaxed swings first. Not this time, though. He goes out of the competition, but if Desperate Dan ever hits the big screen, this man will be in the lead role. 5 meters 50 once again, and Manfred looking very composed. Just settles himself again, and here comes the long pull. It's good. So the pressure back onto Ted at the same height, and this competition really hotting up to the big point. Now, how can Ted respond? Both these men have won this sort of event in World's Strongest Man before.
Oh boy, you can do it.
He thinks he can do it. And he can. That looked very easy, and the wall will rise once again. So the wall goes up to 5 meters 75 now, and it's all a matter of sudden death. Manfred convinced that this event in particular was going to be a real personal test for him, and an indicator as to just how fit he was this year. He said it's not just strength needed, but athletic power. Oh, that's one of his best efforts yet, and so the pressure goes back onto the Dutchman. This has been a very long competition now for them both. Ted cannot afford to miss this one. Off we go again. The wall rising to 6 meters. So with the wall at very nearly 20 feet, he's got to clear this height.
Come on, then, Fred.
This really is a marvellous head-to-head competition between these two men. He's got it! That's brilliant. This is just like a penalty shootout. Ted van der Para needing the next one to draw level.
Manfred, before this event, you said it was going to be your test of strength. You had to win it. How's it going?
Well, I'm satisfied. Yeah, my strength is still there, and I think I can go quite high on this.
You and Ted have been here before. You've been in this exact position. Are you going to clinch it, do you think?
Well, wait for it. It's gonna be... anything can happen. There it was. I won.
Well done.
So Manfred Herbel tops the points table in the second event after a great tussle with Ted van der Para.
Manfred, congratulations. You really wanted that one as well.
I just didn't want it. I needed it. And it was, as I said early on, it was my personal test for my condition at the moment, and I think I could have gone another 1.5 meters higher.
It was probably the event where you didn't want to meet Ted van der Para because that was one of his strongest as well.
I like to meet the strongest in the strongest events. It's a strongman contest, and I think we shouldn't look for the faults for the others, but try to do our best and not try to wish the others bad luck. And I think that's what it should be all about, and I think that's what we just showed.
Well, Manfred's certainly showing he's a tough challenge for Ted, who's hanging on to first place by only 1 point. But not a good round for Ron, who lies fourth. City Resort stands in the crater of an extinct volcano. Within it, the Valley of Waves, one of the venues for the competition. Here, special machines create waves big enough to surf on. If you don't fancy your chances at standing up, there's also swimming and boogie boarding, a kind of horizontal surfing. If neither appeals, or the waves aren't big enough and you're feeling courageous, then the water slide could be for you.
Ron Trottier, who's up against Laszlo in this third event, just can't wait to get started here. Fekete taking a more leisurely approach.
Steady, mate.
The Hungarian on the right-hand side. And some of his greatest feats of strength coming from lifting huge rocks and the like. Onto the second stone. Fekete just ahead. It's so hard to get your hands underneath far enough to get a good grip on the surface of these granite stones. They're very smooth. Laszlo going well. Well, he almost threw that one at the referee. He's struggling just a little bit. He's got one more to go. This is the big one, though. 30.2 seconds. He's absolutely delighted. A big effort by Ron for the last one. He just gets it, but the Hungarian's clearly the better man in this contest. That fourth stone weighing 18 stones. And he took it in his stride. He must have tremendous strength in his hands and forearms. This was a very fast time, especially on the sandy surface. This is an event you were looking forward to. Are you satisfied with what you've done?
Igen, valóban erre a versenyszámra vártam. Azt hiszem, hogy ez a 30 másodperc, úgy érzem per pillanat, nagyon jó idő, de még ketten hátra vannak, két vetétársam. Hát sok szerencsét kívánok neki.
Well, I'm not sure there will be much running by Ted and Manfred with nearly 300 pounds of granite in their arms. But he was right when he said he thought 30 seconds was a good time. The course has been reset, and here is nearly 300 pounds of solid muscle striding out onto the beach. Ted, whose height for once may be a disadvantage due to how low he must get to lift these weights out of the sand. So once again, a head-to-head between these two, but Fekete's time was mighty impressive. Manfred just in the lead at the end of the first. And at the second, he's going like a train. Maybe Laszlo was right, he's almost running. His time is so fast. This is the last one. He's going to win this easily. 23.35 seconds. That has taken Feketay's time apart. Ted van der Paren still going, and this last stone is really making him hurt. He'll finish third with that, but what about Manfred Herbel? Just watch this. Look at how big those arms are. It looks as though he's just reached up to the trees, pinched a couple of coconuts and had them bolted onto his arms. This is the man born in the same town as Arnold Schwarzenegger, and who after this year's World's Strongest Man could be heading westwards to Hollywood to follow in his footsteps. For the time being, though, the importance of that win means he can almost guarantee his place in the final.
Manfred, under those conditions, sand underfoot, that's got to be one of the fastest times ever.
Most probably. I think I can add a little to that, maybe at the final. But considering sand, I'm quite happy. It must be, really.
It looked as though at one point, I mean, your biceps are enormous anyway, and that obviously helped lift the stones. It looked as though they were about to explode. Did you feel any pressure in your arms at all?
The stones are so light here, it feels great.
A confident man now as a result of his second win in this heat. Feketay equals his best finish, Ted and Ron fighting for the rest of the points. But a worrying moment for Van der Paren, a very sore calf muscle after that event.
Going into the last test, it looks like Canadian Ron Trottier is out of the running for a place in the final. Laszlo Feketay, though, could still make it through. For event 4, we leave the beach and return to the arena where the competition began.
As this week's contestants reach their last event, we can look back to the two men who qualified for the final last week. Forbes Cowan, who was memorable because of a real gutsy performance, and Joe Onosai, who has created a lot of interest because of his amazing array of tattoos.
Well, these are Samoan traditional tattoos. My grandfather is a paramount chief, which is equivalent to like the district king. My father is a high chief as well, so several years ago I went back to Samoa to get my chief title, and also was branded by these tattoos. It's a very extensive work, but a big honor, a badge of honor in our culture. It took about a week of 3.5 hours a day, and the tattoo artist is constantly, he does it with a sharpened boar tusk, and he's pounding it. He pounds it into you.
It must have been agony, wasn't it?
It's
really painful?
Very painful. And the thing is, you're butt naked in front of the whole village. The whole village sits outside of the house, and they sing songs, and they encourage you. Because the thing is, once you start these tattoos, you have to complete it. If you don't complete it, then it's an embarrassment to your family.
Joe certainly didn't embarrass himself in last week's contest. He was the man who effectively eliminated the reigning champion, Gary Taylor. While the farmer's walk this week is slightly different to our first heat, the weights are the same, over 200 pounds in each hand, but the first two men, Ron Trottier and Laszlo Feketay, have to carry them over a 75-metre course as quickly as possible, instead of just going for maximum distance. Laszlo has an outside chance of qualifying for the final if he can produce something special, but Ron is really here to test himself. He won't go through to the final this year, but he wants to prove he's got what it takes to be a great strength athlete.
Ready, left.
Feketay away first and going along quite briskly. Ron just looking a little uneasy. The first turn coming at 25 metres. And Feketay away and around, and he's going well. He's bounding off down towards 50 metres. He's put a lot of distance between himself and Ron already. Well, once again, Laszlo proving he can really turn it on when he wants to. It's going to be quick. 30.8 seconds to beat Trottier, and in fact the Canadian finishes his campaign away down the course. His distance will be marked, but Laszlo looking good. The final act now for two crowd pleasers, Manfred Herbel and Ted van der Paarden.
Manfred Herbel of Austria.
This event has been in the Highland Games, so Manfred, who's been on the circuit for many years, will know it well. And Ted has already been on the receiving end of some of the Austrians' best performances today, so perhaps his confidence lower than it has been. He's still worried perhaps about that calf injury.
Ready!
30.84 seconds to beat. Oh, just look at the speed of Manfred already. He's almost sprinting. Ted going well, but Herbel is around the first turn in well under 10 seconds. Ted just taking a slightly wider berth. Manfred's nearly at the end of the course already, just 25 metres to go. He turns again, watch this. This is going to be victory number 3. That is a stunning time. Ted needs to keep working. He finishes now absolutely exhausted, outside the Hungarian's time. But this event, indeed the last 3 events, all belong to Manfred Herbel. He really does look as though he's in the best shape of his life. He made these weights look so easy. Another maximum score for Manfred. So 4 points again to the Austrian. Another good finish for Laszlo, beating the champion of 1992. And Ron Trottier really does know how tough world's strongest man is.
So the final overall scoreboard looks like this. Disappointment for Laszlo and for Ron in his first strongest man competition. The 2 finalists to emerge from the grueling contest, Ted and Austrian Manfred.
Manfred, congratulations. You've won 3 events. You're through to the final. But I must ask you, at the end there, was that a cry of anguish or a laugh?
That was a laugh. I thought they were heavy. Everybody was telling me it's heavy. It's like balloons. That was all right.
Well, we've had 2 heats now. You're through to the final. Ted's through to the final. So 2 of the favourites. It looks as though it's going to be very tough indeed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be ever world's toughest, world's strongest man.
You get yourself put back together again now and a bit of relaxation.
Give now rest so I can relaxation and do whatever I want, and we are coming back and do the big job.
And welcome to Sun City in South Africa, venue for this year's World's Strongest Man competition. We're now in round 3 of the contest. 4 men have already qualified for the final, 2 more will go through today. This heat features one of the sport's all-time greats, Icelander Magnus Ver Magnusson. He was second last year, but can he clinch it this time round?
We've already learned that there's no such thing as a sure bet in this gambler's paradise, and our first competitor must be considered to be an outsider. Anton Boucher from Namibia is the youngest man ever to take part. By contrast, Magnus Ver Magnusson looks in the sort of form that would prevent any bookmaker giving you good odds. The form book could certainly be upset by Wayne Price, our second African contender in this heat. He really looks the part with those huge dimensions. Finally, Henrik Raven, who competed last year, his track record is impressive. He always shows tremendous determination.
The first event will take place on Sun City's man-made beach.
Raven of Denmark.
Henrik looking a little nervous at the prospect of having to turn 3 cars weighing over half a ton each in the fastest possible time. The cars are not just empty shells. Everything except the glass remains inside, including the engine, and that first one looks very easy. He's ideally suited to this event. Quite short, but very powerful in the lower back. Oh, he slipped there. Now that's going to lose him time. This one is slightly bigger and has been the toughest one in practice. He's got it now. Here comes the sprint finish. 23.95 seconds. And we can actually see Raven as he closes in on that last car again. Slipping there. He kicked sand onto the mat. A few bruises and scrapes on the big 20-stone frame. That was one of the hardest events we've seen so far, and you've damaged your shoulder. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. I was slipping in the sand. I turned in under the car, so I hurt my shoulder a little bit, but it's nothing.
No permanent damage?
No, nothing yet. So I keep going on. Hopefully it was a good time. We're going to see.
Wayne Price of South Africa.
Wayne, the former policeman from Pretoria, the sort of man you would want around if a few cars were illegally parked. Well, Price has looked very mobile as well as massive. And look at that, just a quick flick and the first one goes over. And the second, he's really going well. Raven reached the third car in 15 seconds. Price using his back more than his legs. A final heave and it's over. 20.15 seconds, and Price's first competitive effort is terrific. Magnussen on the far side goes last, and Gerrit Badenhorst, who we'll see next week, supporting his fellow South African. Is he nervous or just playing games? Wayne, your first ever event in Strongest Man, and you did it brilliantly. You must be chuffed.
I'm very excited. The ice is broken now we can go on. I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Now it's the turn of the young pretender, 21-year-old Anton Boucher from neighbouring Namibia.
Magnus, please prepare.
20.15 seconds, the time to beat. Anton, as a 14-year-old, pressed 250 pounds overhead. That's unbelievable. He's not as muscular looking as, say, Gary Taylor, but his 295-pound body is as solid as a rock. This is good. The man behind Boucher is Icelandic strongman Gudmundsson, acting as a spotter just in case of mishaps. Oh, he's having a few problems with this last one. It's nearly there. A little nudge with his knee and it's over. 25.87 seconds, the slowest so far. He in fact reached the last car in the same time as Henrik Raven, but he really had problems finishing it off. He even tried to give it that little last nudge with the knee. A big effort for the youngster, but not the start he wanted. Anton, you said before you were nervous. Are you glad to get that one out of the way?
Yeah, because it's the first time I ever do it. So, I think it's good.
Final preparation now for the man who many think could improve on his own immaculate record in World's Strongest Man. Magnus Ver Magnussen was the champion in 1991 and runner-up behind Ted van der Paarde and Gary Taylor over the last 2 years. He's not the biggest man here by a long way, but like Gary Taylor, he's so fast and powerful. The fastest time, remember, 20.15 seconds. Oh, he's turned this one over as if it was as light as a matchbox. The second going just as easy. This is so fast by Magnussen. The third, the easiest yet. Magnussen has destroyed Price's time. 15.08. That was so fast, a slow motion replay just would not do it justice. So let's see it again at full speed. In sport, it is said that when performances are done well, they look easy. Everything clicked here. Fantastic strength, good technique and perfect timing. Maximum points with the greatest of ease.
A magnificent performance by Magnus Ver Magnussen. The young Namibian Anton Boucher now knows what he's up against.
Magnus, you're normally very quiet, but you really came alive there. That was a fantastic time.
Wayne was very fast, so I just had to go for it. Usually this is a good event for me anyway.
I think everybody has seen now that you're going to be a very serious contender again this year.
Well, I'm going to hang in there, you know. I'm going to give my best.
Magnus certainly sending out positive signals that he is in form as we get ready for the second event above the beach on the Monkey Plaza. There won't be a lot of dynamic movement in the axe hold, But as these statues demonstrate, Anton Boucher has to stand with straight arms, holding two 10.5-kilo Viking axes for as long as possible. Anton just getting in position with the top of the axes touching an electronic sensor so that there can be no doubt about the judging. The positions of the sensors for each competitor were set yesterday. There's a big difference in height and reach of our four strongmen, so it was important for Doug Edmonds and his officials to get the apparatus absolutely right for each man.
Come on, Anton, good.
Boucher looking okay. He goes past half a minute without too much trouble. But I must say, those arms don't look straight to me. The other competitors might well be asking the referee about that after Anton is finished. This is when the pain in the arms and shoulders really starts. Getting very close to 1 minute now, but look at his right arm. The left arm too. Those axe handles should really be vertical. It's a fantastic effort by the young man. 67.8 seconds, an agonizing effort, but will anything be said about his arms being bent? Wayne Price demonstrating, that's the way to do it.
Next competitor, Henrik Raven, Denmark.
Raven third in the first event and scarred on his shoulder and leg from his confrontation with the car. Just getting comfortable before the agony begins. That plate being slid up to his lower back, the body must be pressed back all the time to isolate the shoulders. It's a very big time he has to beat, over 67 seconds. Those axes weighing the same as a small car battery each. Raven with perfectly straight arms, trying to shut out the physical pain. He's looking comfortable. Oh, the axes have gone suddenly, and Raven looks as though he's in trouble once again. The left shoulder gave way by the looks of it. He'll need some medical attention, and referee Edmonds moving in to check on the situation. Henrik suffering pain, but watch the official on the right-hand side, expecting a much longer hold. He was really caught by surprise and nearly ended up being split in two. You looked very comfortable there, 20 seconds, and then something went in the shoulder.
Yeah, it was like my muscle was stuck, then it was turning around, so I have to let it go. I don't know what it is, but I have to let go of it.
Raven, a forlorn hope, really, of gaining any more than 1 point.
Wayne Price of South Africa. Yes, Wayne!
Big cheers now for the man who once worked in the homicide division of South Africa's police force, Wayne Price. Still chasing Anton Boucher's lead. Price, the most muscular of our four competitors here today, a really massive man. You can just about see some of the stretch marks on his shoulders. That's where the biggest growth in his muscles has occurred over many years of hard training. You saw Manfred Herbel last week with arms as big as tree trunks. Well, this man is not far behind. A huge chest too, well over 50 inches. I'll tell you what though, he's not enjoying this event. Already struggling just a little bit. There's no lack of effort here, but he doesn't look comfortable. The lactic acid in his shoulders building up by the gallon. He's gritting his teeth. I don't think there's any way he's going to go into the lead. 36.10 for second place. Boucher's time really is going to take some beating, and there's only the Icelander, Magnusson, left to go.
It looked as though it was more difficult than you thought.
Yeah, I think with the setting up actually yesterday when we set up the thing, I set the markers too far out. So it was like right on my finger points. But look, Anton set a good time up and it was a hard time to beat. So.
Well, Price got that bit right, but as we've already seen, Magnus can turn it on when he has to. He has competed with these axes before. 2 years ago in Reykjavik, they were part of the Viking theme in the competition that was held in front of the building where Reagan and Gorbachev held their summit meeting. I wonder if he's even bothering to go for Boucher's time. Perhaps he'll just be satisfied to pass Price and Raven to secure 3 points.
10.
Looks relaxed enough. Even just holding a couple of kilos at arm's length for 30 seconds can be hard going for most people. But these are no ordinary men. They lift incredible weights every day of their lives as part of their training, and that's caught everybody by surprise. The buzzer has gone, the clock has stopped at 24.8 seconds, and Magnusson looks bewildered. If that result stands, Wayne Price will be a happy man, that's for sure. Magnus, you looked very comfortable there. What went wrong?
Well, at the time I was checking out my left hand, because you're holding it out like this, so you can't watch both hands at a time, and this only gives you like this leverage, so it doesn't give you much space. So I think I lost just control on that one just a little bit.
Magnus only taking 2 points, but Boucher is the man of the moment, despite some reservations about his technique.
So success for the young Namibian, but Magnusson stays on top on points due to his previous first place, now though he's joined by Wayne Price. The Sun City Resort has been built in the crater of an extinct volcano. The vast complex contains hotels, casinos, a man-made lake and beach, and 2 championship golf courses. This one recently played host to the $1 Million Classic, won by Britain's Nick Faldo. The second championship course has only recently opened, with its Flintstone-style clubhouse. Golfers whose stroke requires a little attention will discover an unusual hazard on the 13th. No caddy could be expected to retrieve that one. The crocodile pit is teeming with the creatures. Some disclaimers should definitely be taken more seriously, and this is one of them. Well, as final preparations get underway for Event 3, there's some bad news for Denmark.
Henry, what's happened?
Yesterday in the axle was holding out and suddenly something slipped, and the doctor told me today it's an injury in the toe of the biceps, in the shoulders. It got fisted here, it slipped off, so I can't compete today because I have to rest for 3 weeks. Then we're going to see if it's okay.
2 events and 3 injuries in fact for the Dane. First a battered shin and shoulder in the car turning, then that nasty tear in his other shoulder in the axe hold. Total despair for Raven.
So that means effectively you're out of the competition?
Yeah, I'm out of the competition. That's a bit of a shame because it's a good event for me today. The loading event, I'm very quick, so it's a good event for me. The Huseful Stone, because I'm a little lighter than the other, so I can move quicker. So it's bad luck for me.
Bad luck indeed, and Enric's withdrawal means Anton will be competing in this contest against one of the competition reserves who will give Boucher something to chase. All 3 men left in, just separated by 1 point.
Ready!
As Juliet said, this competition is a mix of strength and stamina. These men, not renowned for their great endurance, they'll be trying to pace themselves as they hoist each barrel, which weighs about the same as a fridge, onto the truck. Anton was saying before this event that he felt his aerobic fitness might be better than some of the other competitors, so this event would suit him, and he's going well. Keep a check on the time, that's about 25 seconds for the second barrel, so we can compare that when the second heat gets underway. The reserve, Anders Gudmundsson, some way behind the Namibian, so he's not really helping to push him to a good time. Anton now 2 barrels to go, and he's slowing. And that's not surprising. In the same way as marathon runners say they hit a wall after 20 miles or so, meaning their legs start turning to jelly and the breathing is shallow. These men experiencing that sort of feeling now. Boucher almost moving in slow motion. The weight of the barrel shouldn't be a problem, but the pulse rate will be moving at about 180 beats per minute, trying to capture some oxygen to feed those aching muscles. The final effort now for Boucher. 1 minute 24.95. That's the time for Price and Magnusson to aim for.
The pressure's really on now. You need to win this event, don't you?
Yeah, going to. So I'll be going for it full speed.
Anton probably experiencing fatigue like never before, and glad it's all over as Magnus and Wayne stride out onto the beach. You heard what the Icelander had to say. He's going to go for it full speed, and Price, although 1 point ahead of Boucher, can't afford to hang about. Well, 2 years ago we were in Iceland and the eerie Blue Lagoon for this event, and Magnusson on the left-hand side ran away with it. Price's home is in Pretoria, which is about as far away from beaches and sea as you can get. Magnus going well and heading towards the second barrel, which Boucher got in 25 seconds. He's well ahead. Magnus really turning it on now. If he can keep this up, he'll destroy Anton's time. This is looking ominous for Boucher, and Price is almost keeping pace. If the South African can keep going, Anton will have to produce something really special in the last event. In fact, I think Wayne could even be catching up. This is fantastic. Both of them have got over 30 seconds to complete this last barrel. I'll bet the Namibian can hardly believe his eyes. This is just like a sprint down the home straight for the accolades, and Magnusson appears to have the edge. He's got it, and look at the time. Just over 1 minute, but what's happened to Price? Magnusson shouting at Wayne. Just one last effort. Oh, that barrel looks as though it weighs half a ton now. Boucher's time creeping up on him. The crowd going crazy. I can't believe it. Price has had enough. He's totally wrecked and finds himself in third place. An event full of drama, and just 3 men left, of course, due to Raven's retirement. A real bonus for Anton Boucher, and Magnusson takes his second win of the day.
I needed to win this event to secure myself for the finals, so I really went for it.
Well, you now have a 2-point cushion going into that final, so things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm happy with it.
A word about Wayne, because he really pushed you hard.
Yeah, Wayne is a very tough competitor, and he was chasing me all the time, so I just had to stay ahead of him.
That he managed to do, and Raven's retirement from the contest guarantees that the Magnusson will go through to the final. Wayne and Anton, though, have all to play for. So, going into the final event, the calm before the storm. This last round will decide who joins Magnus in the final in 2 weeks' time.
Calm, relaxed and perfectly in control, the man with the Viking heritage was not so composed 2 years ago when he faced the ultimate Icelandic strength test, the Husafell stone, a 400-pound rock hewn from the rugged landscape and carried as far as possible. Legend has it that the greatest distance this stone has been carried is by a shepherd's daughter. And this was the final event in World's Strongest Man that year. Magnus needed to beat Ted van der Para to carry off the title in front of his home crowd. He miscalculated by the smallest of margins and ended up in joint second place overall in front of a stunned audience. 2 years on in Sun City, and the event is back. And 5 men required to lift this slab of solid rock onto a plinth where our final test will start from. The Husafell stone weighs the same as an engine from a family saloon car. Whoever wins the duel between Boucher and Price, they are guaranteed a place in the final. Both men in World's Strongest Man for the first time. This will be their biggest test yet. The youngster, whose exploits in weightlifting and athletics are fast becoming legend around here, makes his bid for the final. Anton used to hold a world age best for the shot put as a teenager. He gets away well and is given some idea where he's going by the referee. It's so hard to see over the top of that stone. I'm not sure what's going to happen to the wooden floor here if the rock is dropped. However, Boucher clings on, the strapping around the arms, protecting them and giving a little extra grip too. The legs looking a little unsteady. He's hanging on desperately. It's definitely getting lower now. Boucher creates the target of around 41 metres. Magnus offering some advice on the technique, but I suspect not all the trade secrets. But Anton gave that everything, didn't he? Price now knows exactly what he has to do. No lack of support here, as you'd expect. Now he's managing to get his arms right round. Boucher couldn't do that. Oh, the stone is right across his face, and there's a problem already. He's looking a bit wobbly. Now, Price is definitely in trouble, and the officials are obviously concerned. The paramedics are on hand too. Magnussen must be wondering if he gave the right advice. Price recovered now, but that was worrying for a moment. The 31 stone rocked too much even for this man Mountain. We can see that again. He definitely lifted it much higher, and I think that may have been his downfall. Just look how it was pressing on his chest and face. I think it may have stopped him breathing long enough for him to black out for a split second. The rock goes, and it probably hit him on the rebound. That was nasty. This makes it all a bit of an anticlimax for Magnus. He's a very shrewd tactician in these competitions, and I'm sure he'll not go over the top in terms of the effort required. He really only needs to carry it a few feet. Claude Parnell on the right-hand side, another reserve, and the man who rushed in to help Price when he was in trouble. So, the last physical effort of this heat, and it should be a formality. He strides away past Price's marker, so he's already done enough. Looking very, very comfortable. He's going to check with the referee. That's it. The crowd appreciating what he's done today. Magnussen, the master in Heat 3. But don't forget, it was Anton Boucher who carried the Husafell stone the furthest to gain win number 2, which clinches him a place in the final.
Magnus, congratulations. In England we call that economy of effort. You didn't need to do much on that one, did you?
No, actually I was secure before this event because the Raven was out, so I was secure even just picking stone up and drop it of being in a qualifying, being in the final, you know, so I didn't want to waste energy.
Anton, many congratulations, through to the final, and a brilliant performance in that last event. Did you enjoy it, or was it agony?
No, I enjoy it so much because I work very hard at home, you see, and it's a great performance. I think so.
Once again, that was a question of fitness and not just strength.
I would say it is, yeah, fitness, but mostly strength, because with rock is very heavy and awkward to handle, you know. It's about rock weight about 205 kilogram, and it's so much awkward, so you can't take him just around, so you must take him like that, you know.
Well, however awkward the stone might be, it's taken Anton into the final with Magnus for Magnussen. Disappointment though for Wayne, who was pipped at the post in his first strongest man competition.
Welcome back to Sun City in South Africa for the 1994 World's Strongest Man Championship. Over the past 3 weeks, we've seen 6 strongmen qualify for the final. Today, the last 2 contenders will be found. Among those bidding for a place is the giant thin Ricky Keary. He was 3rd in last year's contest. Here to tell us more about the competition and the competitors is Paul Dickinson.
We have another 4 brand new events for you in this final heat, in a competition which has been full of surprises and of course tremendous displays of strength. The fact that only 2 men can qualify automatically for the final has meant that each individual contest has been so exciting. Judging by the lineup for this final group, we're in for another great competition.
Gerrit Badenhorst has been a world powerlifting champion 3 times. He's a real crowd pleaser and this year looks bigger and stronger than ever. Riku Kiri is confident he can improve on last year's performance. His massive physique is topped by a 61-inch chest. Heinz Olesch is famous in Bavaria as a stone lifter. Recovering from injury, he's raring to go in his first World's Strongest Man. The USA always produces good strongmen. Steve Polchinella is their latest strength sensation.
This is Sun City's Valley of the Waves. The man-made beach is the venue for the first event, the car rolling competition.
The waiting over and we get the final qualification process underway with Heinz Olesch getting ready for the car rolling contest together with American Polchinella. Well, the contest last week was to see who could turn 3 cars on their side in the fastest possible time. This week, just 1 car for each man, but it must be rolled through 360 degrees. Olesch on the far side going well, and no lack of aggression from Polchinella. He's really charging at him. Keep an eye on the time in the top right-hand corner. Olesch well ahead of the American. Heinz making his charge for the line, 18.95 seconds. The last part of his roll looks very quick. But Steve looking anguished now. He just can't get the momentum that Olesch had to turn it over.
Come on! Now!
That's a little better.
Come on!
It's going over now. Just one more push. Oh, the run-in looking a real struggle for the American. 46.76 for Polchinella. A big smile on the German's face. He's off to a good start. And Steve's time not too good looking, with Badenhorst and Kiri to come. Well, that car destined for the scrap heap after the battering it's taken today.
Never done this event and I was nervous, but it was good.
A very fast time, but 2 very strong competitors to come.
Yeah, that's very strong competitors, and they have the experience. Oh, let's see what they do.
Doug Edmonds tossing a coin to see which lane the next 2 will take. Badenhorst wins it and chooses. Life in Sun City carrying on as normal. If those spectators stay put for a few moments, they'll see 2 20-stone giants put through their paces. Gerrit Badenhorst from Bloemfontein in South Africa and Riku Kiri from Finland, just clearing his head with some smelling salts. 18.95 seconds to beat. And Kiri just ahead, but only just. In fact, they turn the car onto the roof at exactly the same time. This is neck and neck. Look at this. Who's got the fastest legs? Badenhorst by a split second. That was so fast by both men. 13.51 for the winner. Olesch's time didn't stand a chance. Well, Gerrit picked up from a fractionally slower start to turn his car slightly ahead of Riku. That was remarkable.
So after the first event, it's the South African that takes the lead. But the Finn Riku Kiri looks set to prove a tough challenger to the top slot.
Gerrit, you've just heard the result. It's what you wanted, first place.
Yeah, definitely a good start for me. Very, very good start.
But it was very close between you and Riku. He's obviously in good form too.
Very, very good times. You know, he's a very, very strong man as well.
You're a former world record holder in deadlift. Was that an advantage for that event?
Definitely, yeah. Back power, leg power is the big thing here. You know, turning speed. And, you know, Riku got that as well. And he's got huge shoulders and chest, so I think he will do quite good in the later events as well. I'm positive now.
That win giving Gerrit a boost in front of his home crowd, and he's absolutely right about Kiri. As we move from the beach up to the Monkey Plaza, this next event looks as though it could be the Finns' best chance of scoring maximum points. Well, you would find this event impossible if you had arms as skinny as those monkeys, but luckily for Steve Polchinella, his biceps measure over 20 inches, so well equipped to handle this weight, which is the equivalent of a 16.5 stone man. The closest exercise to this in a gymnasium, I suppose, would be the incline bench press. Just getting strapped in so that the hips stay flat against the wooden support.
When do I start?
We should be seeing these men aiming for somewhere between 10 and 20 repetitions.
Go!
Strength and stamina are vital here. Well, the referee actually shouting no for that first one. He needs to lock out his arms. Got a bit of a rhythm going now. He's finding it a struggle already. He must try and squeeze out a couple more. That was better. He's just going to try and bounce it off his chest, I suspect, this time. The crowd shouting for more, but they don't get it. It's 9 for the American. And I suspect that lead will be short-lived.
Heinz Olesch of Germany.
Heinz Olesch now a big athletic-looking man, the sort of physique a shot putter or a discus thrower would be proud of. All these men receiving tremendous support from the crowd here today.
Ready! Left!
The first repetition will just get rid of the cobwebs. Now he's really pumping out the reps. I think Polchanella's total is going to be totally wiped out here. He's got a big chest, massive arms, up to 15 now. This is very good. Like Polchanella, just bouncing it off the chest and gives it a little nudge with his legs as well. 18 repetitions. The crowd wanting just one more. This is a gutsy effort from the German. Olesch really setting a tough target for the last two. That was excellent. Riku Kiri, the quiet man from Finland, the next up. A man of few words, but real action when he's given a challenge. That's Mrs. Kiri. I don't think those fingernails are going to last very long. More smelling salts for Riku. I bet he's beginning to wake up now. 18 the target.
Go!
Oh, this is fast, even compared to Olesch. There's no point in hanging about in an event like this. The only part of his body that will hurt here is the arms and shoulders. But once the stiffness kicks in, it's very difficult to carry on. He's gone in the lead already. He's passed his total from last year when he completed 19. 21 now, trying to get one more. That's a fantastic effort. He can carry on if he wants to. Just taking a little rest. One more repetition. That's the final total. Badenhorst, the last to go, has been set an awesome target by the Finns. And Kiri, glad it's all over.
Okay.
Kiri exploding air from his lungs each time he pushes the 230-pound log up. Good technique and tremendous strength.
Badenhorst of South Africa.
Bench press is one of the disciplines in Badenhorst's sport of powerlifting, but by his own admission, it is one of his weakest events. So I just wonder what he's thinking. A win looks unlikely, but can I pick off Polchanella and Olesch?
Ready! Left! Go!
That's the first one. In actual fact, there seems to be a bit of confusion on the count there. I think the referee disallowing the first one, just like Polchanella, so that's not a good start. But going well now. He's already got third place. Now, how many more? It's strange how the weight moves perfectly well 1 second, and then as soon as the lactic acid sets in, it comes to a grinding halt. 14 for Herod. So Olesch will be delighted with his second place. Badenhorst, who loves performing in front of a live audience. Being greeted there by fellow South African Wayne Price, who we saw in last week's programme. So to the result of the log press, Pulcinella taking his second single point in a row, but Riku Kiri gaining 4 points with a great performance.
Riku, you're in the lead. Are you going to stay there?
Yes.
Well, it seems Riku's channeling all his energy into actions rather than words, and it appears to be working as he takes his position at the top of the table. Steve, though, seems to be struggling. The Sun City Resort is a huge, glitzy pleasure park housing 3 hotels, 2 golf courses, casinos and vast amusement arcades. Beyond its boundaries, the real Africa, the Pilanesberg National Park, just a few minutes' drive from the resort, but a totally different world, where it's imperative to look after yourself.
Yeah, this is just in case we get charged by something.
And this is what could do it, the park's rhino. Before the competition got underway, everyone took time out to see what else was on offer in the South African bush.
This will be the best of 3 pools to decide the winner. The competition consists of 2 semi-finals and a final. Well, in this tug-of-war, they will be harnessed together by a rope, but are facing away from each other, and will have another rope they can pull on with their arms. Sounds complicated? Well, all will be revealed in just a moment. Badenhorst on the left at 147 kilos in weight, and Pulcinella at 132. So quite a difference, which should help the South African. But technique is important too, just as Badenhorst described. Pulcinella mustn't go over that white line, which he does. So Badenhorst wins pool number 1 and is delighted. Herrick really loves these head-to-head confrontations. A former junior Springbok rugby player, he's almost as wide as a barn door. And for Steve Pulcinella, the events just seem to get harder and harder.
Go!
Let's just compare these 2 men in terms of their physiques and their techniques this time. Pulcinella has played some American football, so he must have some power in those legs. Herrick staying much lower, making it more effective in terms of his body weight and leg power. He could be very useful in a rugby stroke. And he goes again. Well, I was going to say Pulcinella needed to produce something extra special, but it didn't happen. Actually, despite the victory, Herrick looks the more tired of the 2. He's not happy about something, and I hope there's not an injury. Badenhorst really gave Steve no chance, but in the process went crashing to the ground. Luckily, there's no injury. The big man is just tired.
Herrick, congratulations, through to the final now. Do you know the technique of this event better now?
No, not yet. You know, sometimes I feel like that I work too much on my arms, forget my legs. Then I want to work with my legs, not I forget my arms. So it's new, you know. But it went down quite okay, as long as you win.
Semi-final number 2, and it's Finland versus Germany. Each man weighing nearly the same, around 23 stones. I just hope that rope is strong enough, otherwise we could see some bodies flying about all over the place. Olesh slightly the shorter of the 2, but only by a centimetre.
Give, Olesh. Give. Steady, steady.
The centre line is the one they mustn't cross, otherwise the bout is lost. Well, at the moment, it's Hines who's doing all the work. Kiri content just to lean and hang on. Neither man getting as low as Badenhorst was. Olesh is really working hard out there. Oh, there's blood coming out of Kiri's nose. This could be a little worrying. You can't see it from this angle, but it's all over the rope and on the ground. Riku's wife, as vocal as ever, I don't think she can have seen what's going on over there. Olesh hanging on for dear life now because Kiri is moving forward at last. The German loses round one and Kiri is flat out on the concrete. Kiri looking totally exhausted. The tiny Mrs. Kiri obviously very concerned. After that bit of drama and a bit of medical treatment, Olesh finds himself hooked up to Kiri once again. The last pull was the most competitive we've had so far. Can they do it again?
Give Rico. Okay, fine, good. Go!
The doctors were saying to Riku after the first bout that he must try and breathe as normally as possible when he's pulling, otherwise pressure builds up in the nose and you saw the result. Well, Olesh deciding this time he's not going to work so hard, and it looks fairly even. Actually, the German now losing ground. That's it. Kiri wins 2-0, just as Herritt did, and thank goodness, no injuries this time. But still a bit of remedial treatment required before the final.
Rick, what's the problem?
They generate very high blood pressure during these type of events, especially the straining, and Riku's very prone to having nosebleeds anyway, and the high blood pressure during the event just triggers it off.
And no danger for Riku in the final, though?
I wouldn't have thought so. It might bleed again, but then we'll just stop it again. So.
I wonder what this little chap makes of it all. Perhaps dreaming of a long, cool drink. The heat really is intense up here, with very little shade, and despite the short time it takes for each contest, these conditions really are draining on the reserves of energy. The doctors, in fact, have recommended that these finals should be the best of just one pool because of the conditions and because of potential injury to the competitors. So this is it. 4 points the prize for the winner of this one pool.
Go!
Olesh has in fact won the pool for the losers final, so 2 points to him and another single point to Pulcinella. Seems to be even so far. I think Riku might get some stick if he loses this one. The irresistible force against the immovable object. Take your pick as to which is which. Badenhorst not as low as he was in the semi-final. Riku getting a bit of movement on the rope now. And Herritt goes over the centre line. Kiri wins. Both men, I think. Glad it's all over. So South Africa scoring well through Badenhorst once again. But despite some problems, Kiri wins and moves further away from the rest of the field.
Riku, how do you feel after that? Because that was very tough indeed.
I finished very hard even. Finished.
Going into the last event, it looks like it's definitely finished for American Steve Pulcinella, and Heinz Olesh has a lot of work to do if he's to go through to the final. It's late afternoon and it's been a long, hot, tough day for the competitors, but only one more contest to go before we'll know exactly who's to go through to next week's final. This is the arena for the last event, known as the Atlas Walk.
With the 200-kilo Husafell stone last week, we were looking for maximum distance carried. This time, Herritt Badenhorst and the rest are carrying a lighter weight, 115 kilos, and are going for speed. The fastest time over the course wins.
Okay.
Kiri goes last, and Pulcinella presumably trying to salvage some pride in this last event.
Your time left.
The American knows he's strong, but his confidence must be at rock bottom at the moment. Under normal circumstances, if this weight was on a bar, it wouldn't be a problem at all, but it is awkward to lift. And Steve not tackling this at all well. I'm not even sure he's going to make it to the start line. He's had enough. He goes out with a whimper rather than a bang. The crowd's still waiting for some action. Steve must be livid. His weightlifting belt has actually gone in the water. Well, that's all happening as Heinz strides out onto the platform. He has got an outside chance of qualifying for the final, but he must do something special here. That's the way to do it, but he is carrying it very low. Keary actually must go through to the final now because of Fortunella's performance, and Badenhorst would have to perform miserably if we see the German next week. But Olesh has done well here. He certainly gets my promising newcomer award. He's really favouring that right side. I bet we're going to see a bruise there tomorrow. He's just managing to hang on. That magnesium chalk on his hands is helping the Atlas stone stay up there. The hands and the fingers must be aching desperately now. There's only a couple of metres to go. Come on, Hines, just a couple more steps. The line is in sight. He's got it, 51.37. What a great effort. I suppose it must be like banging your head against a wall. It's absolutely fantastic when it stops. The support for the next competitor is likely to be frantic.
South Africa.
Bloemfontein is about 5 hours drive from Sun City, but there's plenty of hometown support here for Gerrit. He would love to win this one.
Okay, let's go.
Remember, he's an ex-world record holder at the deadlift.
Okay, go.
That looks safe enough. It's much higher than Olesh. And look at this. He's gone off at a rate of knots. You can see the time he has to beat in the top left-hand corner. That is going to be smashed. The stone actually appears to be lodged just on top of the belt he's wearing, so that will help. I'm not sure he's supposed to be doing that, but it doesn't matter. What a finish. This is Badenhorst says, well done. What that time means, of course, that Heinz Olesh is out of the final. Mum, though, will have to stay for a few extra days. Her little boy has made it. Well, this actually sets it up nicely for Riku. Remember last week when Magnus only had to carry the Husafell stone a few feet to ensure he qualified? Well, Keary is in exactly the same position. All he has to do is carry it a few feet to beat Pulcinella, and the 2 points will be enough. Well, it looks as though he's decided to give it a go. He's the only man so far who's managed to get his arms all the way round. The strapping on his leg has appeared since the last event, so he's obviously got some wear and tear. But I suppose once he gets into competition mode, there's no stopping him. It's not going to be as fast as Gerrit, but Olesh is going to finish in third place, 29.6. Keary has not been out of the top two places all day. There have only been two men who've won events today, Riku Keary with 2 victories and Gerrit Badenhorst here with his second in the Atlas Walk.
So they'll compete in next week's final. A difficult first strongest man competition for Steve Pulcinella, but Heinz Olesh looks like he could be back next year with a vengeance.
Gerrit, the last of our qualifiers for World's Strongest Man 1994, and you did it in style. Well done.
Thanks a lot. No, that was very, very easy. You know, with one stage there, at the end I feel I can turn around and walk back with it. It was really very, very easy.
Now, you've won 2 events in the qualifying competition. You must be fairly confident now going into the final.
Of course, yes, yeah. I'm feeling very good. I'm positive. There's lots of heavy stuff, lying ahead, deadlifts, things like that. So I'm looking forward to the world's strongest man.
Well, the past 4 weeks have certainly thrown up their share of surprises, disappointments, and some remarkable achievements. Most importantly, they've given us our 8 finalists for the World's Strongest Man 1994. It looks set to be a spectacular event, so do join us next week when we'll find out who'll be the world's strongest man of 1994. But for now, from Paul and me here in South Africa, bye-bye.